So this is our current project. This is another one that came in that was worked on in another shop. So he took it somewhere else. He's a buddy of mine. I said, whatever, you know, I didn't really have time for it. So he called me up. He was disappointed in the way it ran, disappointed in quite a few things. We had built an engine. He said it didn't have any power. Well, I started looking at his horsepower problems, and they added up to quite a few things, but this poor little muffler that went on a long tractor was a lot of it. That is like inside where it goes in is like 1 7/8 inch. It's a little small muffler. And this motor is not a monster, but it's strong enough it needs more than that. And then he said the transmission leaked and it was noisy inside and quite a few things. So we were putting an injection system on it because he didn't want to mess with the carburetor. The inside, I'm giving it a bath in Dynamite here. It had a good insulation under the carpet when I tore it apart, so that was all, you know, seemed pretty reasonable. So now it's Dynamite time. I'm thinking that'll work pretty good. We put a new shifter in it and rebuilt the transmission because he said the tranny leaked. Well, the tranny was just wore plumb out. You could pick the drive shaft up and down about 1/4 inch. So it was really worn. The clutches inside were no better than the tail shaft bushing. So I'm really packing it in here. See if I can make it quiet for him. I don't think he really wants to have something too rattly and antique-y, so we'll do this. And then it had a new interior. We'll put the new interior back in it, and then we're going to hang some new exhaust under it and finish up our fuel injection unit. Well, it's a new day. Gotta come out here and feed the stock before we get back to the shop. My wild turkeys that aren't so wild wait for me every morning, trying to get something to eat. And cows think they're dying. Come on, turkeys. Come on. Come on. Come on, turkeys. Come on, turkeys. They're just like big beggars. They don't even care how close you are. Got about an 8-foot bubble. Look at them, they'll come right in. Getting too old for this shit. So this thing doesn't appear to have had a neutralizer switch that worked or a reverse light switch that worked. So I'm thinking before I get everything in the way here, I'm going to string some wires and I'll label them. I put the wires the same color. It doesn't matter. This is just a momentary switch, so it just completes the signal. So I got to figure out which one is which here. Alright, so that one, this lower one does park and neutral, and the upper one does reverse. So I labeled these. This one's neutral. Plug this one into the lower one. Reverse. I'll just string them up there, and I do see there looks like there's a neutralizer switch up on the dash. Originally this hub would turn. There was a connector hooked to the transmission, or there wasn't a 4-speed cars anyway. Not totally positive on this, but I didn't see any provision on this shifter to do anything with neutral or reverse. There was just a light wire coming in here. So I got to get the car powered up once we get everything back in it. When I get the tank back in it and the exhaust back on it and everything, I'll have to power it up and figure out the fuel injection original, what you've got to put your parameters in. I'll show you that. I got to figure that out, and then just see where the hell we're going. These jobs you're catching up between 2 or 3 other people, so Lord knows what you're going to find. You just pick away at it like the blind man feeling up the elephant and figure it out after a while. Well, that is pretty cool. Makes the automatic less boring. Now, I tried the video installing this shifter. It didn't go well. I don't really know how to beep out cuss words. And if I did know how to beep out cuss words, it would have sounded like Morse code. So probably I would have ended up starting some foreign conflict or something. Just as well just to leave that out of the video. But it's a cool shifter. It fits well. It's worth the time to put it in. It's just wasn't my favorite job, so didn't go well. And putting carpets back in and finding holes to bolt the seats in and everything else, none of that is a high point on my day. So none of it anybody wanted to see. Maybe you could learn what a bitch this is to put in and decide if you want to put one in, but anyway, just trust me, didn't go that great. But it's worth it. I mean, anyway, I guess I would do it. If I had an automatic Camaro, I would probably do it. I'm thinking my chances of having an automatic Camaro probably aren't real big, so time to put the fuel pump in this thing. Get the old fuel injection working. We take out the rusty piece of crap, which is not too freaking spectacular. I generally put a new fuel tank on when I put fuel injection in, because we've had a couple of cases where you get that little bit of oxidization or powder or whatever the hell leaks out of fuel over the years. It'll plug up a 10 micron filter, which you need to use with injection. And if you don't use this, then your injectors are all plugged up. So easy thing to do is put a new tank on. And the inline pump they sell with these kits is a noisy bugger. Junior found this, which is actually pretty cool. It goes right in the tank, quiet, nice. But I couldn't figure out how in the world I was going to install it and get it all through that little dinky hole until I read the instructions. And you just take the float off. Well, that's simple enough. So I pull the float off, and then you stuff it all down in there. I was thinking I got to get this down in the hole and then put the screws back on. So, I mean, sounds easy. We'll see how easy. It's a lot of shit to cram through a small hole, I know that. It's a lot. It apparently does fit. Now then, here's the tricky part. I mean, what could go wrong?
Losing the screws down the fuel tank.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
I feel like is a very good possibility.
Yeah. I'd rather not talk about it.
I figured we'd just address the elephant in the room and just get it over with kind of deal.
Well, yeah, I'd rather pretend that's not really an issue. And
I'm sure it's a stainless screw. You can't even put a magnet up against.
Well, let's just say we hope it's a stainless screw.
Be kind of nice if it was semi-magnetic.
I mean, this will be a nice setup, though. You also got to remember to put this little gasket washer on before you...
Yeah, that'd be a real failure if you forgot to do that.
Yeah, because that doesn't come in place. Spectacular things. We will maybe be successful. Look at that. Success. The only thing I got a question about is this fuel line looks a little strange.
Everything's cuttable.
Yeah.
But I think that's just where it goes up stock and goes up over the frame rail.
This was application for this car?
Yes, because that's gonna go in there. It's gonna turn more than that. Yep, it's gonna be right over there. Other side of it. Yep, like that.
Why does the fuel line point backwards?
That's seems a little.
That just makes no sense at all.
But I think they put the bend the wrong direction in that pipe.
Well, unless the carburetor, well, fuel injection is out behind the car.
Why would the fuel injection need to go behind the car? That's.
Well, they seem to think so.
I mean, they clearly do, but they're wrong, though. No, we're gonna cut on that. So
I think we don't have a choice. I think we're going to cut on that. Now, I need to do this little specimen. Up in here. There's a lot of fishing to do on this job.
Yeah.
That new gasket is going to be a challenge. You may have to turn the thing off before I start beating this with a hammer.
Probably should have put some 710 on that.
On which?
The O-ring.
On the O-ring?
Might slide and squish easier, but...
Well, I think it's in place. I don't think it's going to slide.
And I'm not sure why you're so sensitive about people watching you hit this with a hammer.
Might look unprofessional if I lose my temper with this thing.
Just start using vice grip garage words with it, like, yeah.
Look at that. It worked.
I told you.
Your vice grip garage words worked.
I'm telling you, they're words of the Lord.
It went right in.
Get in there.
Almost too good now.
Just gotta go over those locks, Dan.
Yeah, but it needs to be tightening down.
Look at that, it is. That's torque. That ain't going anywhere.
Well, that is wonderful.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you put a fuel injection sending unit into a 1970 through 1981 Camaro.
But that's actually a pretty good outfit, because, I mean, every one of these things we do, you always hear that fuel pump humming away.
The one thing I will say about this tank that I'm not a fan of is when we got this tank, we could only get the one without a filler neck on it.
Yeah, that was not.
So I actually had to like solder. Well, actually, I
solder
welded
the old filler neck.
Yeah, we solder the old filler neck.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Seems very dumb.
Did you solder or did you TIG it?
I ended up TIGging it with like
you did.
Bronze.
Silicon bronze.
Yeah, I figured that was the.
You told me you weren't going to do that.
Well, I kind of.
That was too fussy.
I kind of still wish I didn't. Honestly, would have just gone better. I was more curious than anything.
Yeah, well, around the old solder, you got to do a lot of cleaning.
It honestly.
Solder on this neck before.
It honestly, the fuel tank is very thin, like very thin, and the old neck is thicker than that, and it made for kind of a dog's
made in Canada though.
Breakfast. That's good.
At least it's not lying down.
We can be like the last place that worked on it and just undercoat the shit out of the tank. That'll be professional.
Always remember, read the instructions.
Sometimes they're constructions, sometimes they're destructions, but they help today.
Well, I mean, I didn't see any other way to do it. I was thinking I had to take there's a little clip that holds the arm in place. I was thinking I had to take that off, but the 2 screws make it easier. So, good stuff. Put it back in the car.
So that's that.
Fuel injection is installed. We got to do our setup here to get it going. So, turn the key on. It's supposed to come on. It's not coming on. What the hell is wrong? I had it working a second ago. Well, ain't that a corker?
EFI 101. Don't do that.
I'm thinking the ignition wire must not be working.
Ignitioning.
All right, so I fixed my ignition wire. And here we go. So when you set this thing up, it will not run until you do a base program. So you go in Wizards. It'd be good if I had my glasses on, I could see better. This one is the...
Definitely that one.
That one. So next. Number of cylinders 8. Next. Engine displacement 10. I'm thinking it's a little bigger than that. Whoop, ain't quite that big.
Dad, you have to delete.
Yeah. That'd be a big engine.
That'd be a really large engine.
They allow you a lot of cubic inch in this. Save. Whoop. The hell did I hit? Cancel.
You know that pen they send you with?
Yeah.
Use it. Because it doesn't work good with your fingers.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, you're back. You're deleted.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get...
But you have to put it in.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. 350. Target idle speed. Well, let's see. Guess I should have got the little pin.
Yeah, no, mine's a bitch. Every time I want to use it, it's a bitch.
Fat fingers don't really. What do we want to idle this at? 850 maybe? Try it there.
Something like that.
Cam type.
Street
strip. Next. Power adder type. None. That's a shame.
Mm.
That's new. I haven't seen that window in...
Yeah, because you can set up a nitrous table.
RPM to sniper ignition type. You know what we didn't do?
Hook up an RPM signal?
Hook up an RPM signal.
Oh, you better do that before you start it.
So I'm thinking, yeah.
Cold negative?
I'm thinking we're gonna have to do coil negative, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
There goes the fuel pump.
Hit okay. Oh.
I took it. Sounds like we got a leak.
Yep.
Did you hear that?
I heard it.
Well, let's go find the leak. She's all right now. Apparently we had a hose clamp that was just plain too big.
Apparently.
It didn't squeeze down the pipe. But everything's pressurized now. Everything should be good. You can see new exhaust, new transmission, new gas tank, new fuel pump, new fuel injection. It's got it all. We have a side end to our video. Our Holley apparently
Is a fail.
does not have a good ECU. No data in red. That is not good. So we did everything we could think of.
And everything the Holley tack line could think of.
And it finally broke down and called Holley. I gotta say though, super good. They didn't argue, they didn't bitch. They said if you bring it here, if you send it here, it's gonna be a while. Said if it's less than 90 days since you bought it, go to your vendor and they'll take care of you. So I went to my vendor. No muss, no fuss, no bother.
Yeah, because Holley also said they were out of the actual
Parts,
computers,
yeah.
and they said they didn't know when they were going to have them back in stock.
So I called my vendor and they said, yes, sir. We got one in the mail for you. All ready to go. So a couple days I'll have another one. So can't complain. It's unfortunately not done. Can't finish the video with a nice running car.
Ratchet shifter looks Hollywood though.
Well, I mean, it sounds cool when you make it run.
Yeah.
Too. But
I mean, the ratchet shifter turned out like real nice. Nice factory install, and
I got to do some neatening up on the wiring, a few things here. So next couple days while I'm waiting for the fuel injection, I guess I'll get everything buttoned up and tidy. And then probably just have to bolt the new injector on it, because this sniper deal, actually show them.
Yeah.
This sniper deal, the ECU is right in the injector. So the other ones you have to put an ECU in the car.
Yeah.
So that makes these a pretty easy install.
There's a little board under that plate, so it's very
I
simple.
think that little board is probably cracked the way it's acting though.
I mean,
Or there's a bad connection in there.
do you think it would have anything to do with the wonderful shipping service we've been getting as of lately?
That was not beat up.
It wasn't beat up?
No, that came in. It was sitting on the porch, nice and dry, and
Really?
yeah. So we're good there. No, it's just, I think it was just one of those faulty deals, you know.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of these. We've never had a problem, so this is the first one. But yeah, you know,
Definitely is. I mean, we did our due diligence also. We followed everything right to protocol.
yeah. We went back and double checked all of our connections.
Yeah,
and checked everything with the test.
All of our leads go direct to the battery. There's no muss, no fuss, you know. Everything's mounted properly. There's no...
Yeah, and we double checked everything with the test lead, and everything's got good voltage.
So
all the way around. So we kind of, before we made any calls and did anything, you know, we wanted to have the answers before we get a hold of the tech lines. It takes a while to get through. So Ty updated it, and I mean, kind of did everything we could think of. It didn't take too long talking to Holley, and they said, yeah, you have a problem. So that was anyway, it was good. Like I say, everybody stood tall, so can't really complain. Just a bit of an inconvenience, and not as nice of an ending as actually hearing it run, but is what it is. We'll get the new one.
No, I had it running today, and what it would do when it wasn't doing what you just showed, it would say the IAC valve was at 0%, and you can see the IAC pretty clear over here. You can see the valve. It would say 0%, or not zero, but low percentage, and then you'd hear it just start hissing like it was fully open. So the IAC's here, and it sucks through that hole right there. And it would go reading 0%, and it was 100% open, and the computer didn't know it. And then it would
running like 2,700.
and then it would randomly, yeah, exactly, because it was fully open. And then
that before I left.
And then it would randomly flash a negative throttle position sensor and then shut off.
Yeah.
So it definitely had
it was
random
flashing that no data thing before.
Yeah,
Then
no.
it did that.
Yeah,
Now it's back to the no data.
So it definitely has some interesting problems.
It's ill.
So I mean, I know it's not in the install because it's not our first one, right? Like
No, and like I say, the only thing I wondered about voltage at first, but
no, we tried it with a battery
voltage
charger
is
on
clean and the ground is clean. So
it. Yeah, there's no way.
Because when you check it, we've got full voltage on both ends. So we got a bad unit. So change it out.
Another day,
A few less dollars.
less dollars. Great.